likes Roxanne, Roxanne. All she wanna do is party all night.
Alright, so welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we'll be doing a team of the season predictions for the Seria. Of course, we've done the Bundesliga and Liga now. A lot of you commented that you want to see the Seria now. And we're going to start right into it. Now we're going to start off with the goalkeepers. I'm going to start with Szczesny. Of course, he is Juventus #1, which is quite ironic as he was rejected at Arsenal for being bad behaviour. But now he is an absolute beast for Piemonte Calcio, or better known as Juventus. And one that can definitely see happening because he has had an amazing season for Juventus, which isn't that hard as how good their defence is. Now we move on to the next keeper, and it is going to be Handanovic for Inter Milan. Of course, this keeper has always been quite solid for them and definitely deserves one. You can see 7 clean sheets, 21 matches, which is quite good as they don't have the best defence in the league, unlike other teams such as Juventus. Now we're going to move on to the first of the defenders. Now you can see we'll start with Theo Hernandez, not Lucas Hernandez. Of course, he was in Bundesliga, and you see we're going to start off with him. He's been on OP card all of the year, so this card would definitely cost around 500k, just how good he is. You can see he's already had a headliners card as well, that's how good he is. And we're going to start off with 5 goals from left back, an absolutely crazy ratio. I think up there with the best left back for goals anyway. 2 assists, which aren't the best, but he's been a really solid defender for AC Milan, who haven't had maybe the best defence in the league. I know they have Donnarumma in goal, but Hernandez has really helped them with staying up or trying to get into a top 10 position. Now we move on to the next left back. Of course, a very obvious one is Alexandro. He's always been good and always deserves a team of the season, how good he is. Of course, Alexandro did have that player moments card, which was around the same, I think 91 rated. So this is the only reason why I can't see this happening, just because he's already got a special card that is 91 rated. So maybe they'll beast him up even more, or maybe they'll just not give him one. Either way, this card would be fantastic if it does come out. If not, we're quite happy with Theo Hernandez, how good that card is and how exciting it is to have another left back from the Seria that's not Alexandro. Now, of course, Sandro's card, 92 pace, 90 physical, 93 defending, an absolutely fantastic overall card, and also would be a really good card, but at the same time would cost a lot of coins to afford that the average player can't afford. So maybe it's the best to keep with Theo Hernandez. Now to the first of the centre backs, we're going for De Vrij, who's had quite a breakout season. He hasn't been, of course, amazing the last couple of years, but to this season he's had quite a few informs, and it'll be his first ever card to hit 80 pace, so that'll be a big upgrade for him, and it'll be a really usable card because you get so many strong links to De Ligt, Van Dijk, Van der Sar, so it'll be a really fun card just for links anyway. Now we're talking about breakout seasons. Acerbi, he's always been solid for Lazio, but this year Lazio's had a big improvement, and yes, probably because of Immobile carrying them, but it wouldn't have happened so easily if it wasn't for Acerbi in the back, keeping everything quite chill. And you see 67 clearances, which is quite big numbers, and then pace, not the most usable card, but still quite solid, a bit like Izzo from last year, which everyone packed and wasn't the best. Talking about some amazing defenders, Chris Smalling, another big upgrade in general for his career, moving from Roma, and of course it would be a really good card. He's already got the headliners card, so it'll be really solid. Now moving on to the first of the midfielders, we're going to go with Brozovic. I'm pretty sure that's how you say his name. So many clubs have been after him because how good he is. You can see his accuracy for passing, 89%, absolutely fantastic, and also be a really solid card. Also gets quite a few links if you have Rakitic, Modric, so on. Even that Perisic, be a really solid card. Of course, he's been quite used all of year, so it's quite a well-known name. Unlike this player, Pulgar, which I did have to put a lot of research in to find out who he was, but looking at his highlights, he's been a real solid CDM for them, and also quite a well-rounded card I've given him. Pace, of course, is not the best, shooting is the best, but for CDM, very solid. And of course you need maybe not as many OP players, because if you do pack one, this is probably the one you're going to pack. Now moving on to Milinkovic-Savic, who's been in Man United's eyes for the last couple of years and still haven't signed him like most players, but he's had a really solid season this year, and this might be his last Lazio card, possibly. Anyway, if it is, it'll be a really good one to end on. How solid that card is. Very, very solid player. Anyway, 4 goals, 4 assists, quite good. And then if you look at centre mid, 78% for pass accuracy, 29 key passes, which is so important for a central mid like Milinkovic-Savic. Now, one thing that I can definitely say is this Fabian, who I don't really like, because in real life he played quite rough against Liverpool when Napoli did play them. But now we're talking about cards, maybe not the best cards in the world, but need to be in there just because of they need to decrease or increase the pack weight, like this Joao Pedro. As you can see, I would have given him an 88 just because he's not being amazing for his club, but with 24 matches played, 14 goals, which is, I'm pretty sure, is absolutely crazy how good he's been playing from striker position, with 2 assists. It'll be quite a good card maybe for SBCs if you need a Brazilian from the Seria. It's quite solid, but I wouldn't recommend playing with this card just because his stats don't look amazing. Now we move on to a player who had another breakout season, like a lot of players from the Seria and Bundesliga, Barabi. You see 87 pace, 87 shooting is what I've given him. It's quite a solid card. I remember it's a bit like Korea from last year. You see 9 goals, 5 assists from the right winger position, which is really, really solid. Now, Immobile, I think he is the top goal scorer, quite obviously. In 25 games played, 27 goals, 6 assists, 98 rated. I think it's very, very deserved how many special cards this guy has gotten and how he's carried Lazio so many times and get them into the top 2 and competing with Juventus so many times, which is so impressive for a player in his caliber. Immobile, I remember he played in the Bundesliga, never thought he would be anything, and now look at him now. Now another young player who's come through the ranks is Lautaro Martinez. As you see, I've given him a 94, as he did get future stars around 92, so a bit of an upgrade on that. Be an amazing card to have, and reckon around 2 million coins how good he will be. And another card that could be his last one at Inter Milan, as he's been rumoured with Barcelona. Now another big player who's had another breakout season. Well, I know last year he was quite good, he had another team season then, but it's Ilicic. Very, very solid player for Atlanta. Him and Gomez linking up so nicely. You can see 14 goals, 3 assists, very, very solid. And also his pace, another big upgrade from 70 to 84. And personally, this would be a first usable card for this Ilicic. Even last year his team season was not usable because of his pace, but now this could be his first ever usable card. And you see 32 shots on target, to get 14 goals from that is very, very good. He's been their best player in my opinion and helped them climb the ranks, get them into the top 4 of the Seria. We were talking about a lot of transferred cards from Man United, like the Chris Smalling, but we didn't mention Romelu Lukaku. For me, the biggest upgrade in a player I've seen ever is him. You see, in 24 matches, 17 goals, which is as many he did in his breakout season for Everton, which just shows how good he is. And he hasn't even played the whole matches because, of course, the league got cancelled. That just shows how solid he is, and definitely deserves one. With 99 physical, can't wait to use this card or come against this card, as probably would be too expensive for me to afford. Now we're on to the big man, Cristiano Ronaldo, and he is a second top goal scorer for the Seria, but just behind Immobile. And of course you're going to have him in any team this season. Doesn't even matter if he plays bad, he's going to get into it. Like the team of the year, he didn't deserve a team of the year, but it's because it's Cristiano Ronaldo, he got a team of the year. See, I put him as a left winger just because he's been playing there, where Dybala's playing a bit more forward, like a striker. And Dybala is another special mention. I could have got one, but anyway,